President of Spring Arbor University, Dr. Brent Ellis. Hi, Brent.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Good to be back.
Yeah, happy start of school.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. We're getting ready.
Are they back yet?
Well, we have, I would say, an eighth of the students back, right? I mean, so, we kind of phase them in. Our fall athletes have been back for a little while, so competition starts pretty quickly for them. In fact, a lot of them have already had some preseason games, so soccer, men's and women's soccer, volleyball, cross country, men's and women's cross country, and so they're all back. We've done our leadership training for students, so student government and our resident assistants and peer advisors. Those are all student leaders on campus. They came in last weekend and did a retreat down at our Machindo Conference Center, and so then on Friday, all of the new students come, and so we'll welcome right around 300 or so new students to campus. So it'll be a fun weekend. It's exciting. I mean, we're ramping up for sure.
And their moms and dads in the U-Haul trailers.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Every year, they have bigger trailers that come and try to cram as much as possible. I think it's your freshman year, you bring everything that you think you might need. Sophomore year, it's a little bit less. Junior year, it's a little bit less, and by their senior year, typically they've got it down to a pretty good science. So yeah.
I remember last year there was this lonely couch sitting on the front lawn of one of the residence halls for the weekend, and you could tell, looking just from the size of the couch, that they didn't take any measurements before
it didn't fit.
Yes,
right?
It did not fit.
Yeah. So we do our residence life staff does a tremendous job working with students prior to them coming, and even online you can know exactly the schematics of the room. It's whether the students and their families take advantage of that work or not. It's up to them. But so there are a lot of times
just a dad being a dad. I can make it fit.
That's right.
I can get it in there.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
A big year, start of a big year for Spring Arbor University.
Yeah. I mean, so thinking back, upon our founding, it's in September of 1873 that Spring Arbor, actually seminary was founded by a gentleman by the name of E.P. Hart, who was a New York minister who came way out west to the frontier land of Michigan and found a spot in Spring Arbor to start this institution today that we call Spring Arbor University. So actually this incoming class will be our 150th class that we'll welcome onto the campus of Spring Arbor. And then our actually 150th anniversary is next September. And so we'll kick off, actually this Saturday, we have a party on the plaza. I think have some information on that. But it's kind of a kickoff to our sesquicentennial year. And so we are inviting anybody that wants to come out and participate within that. We have a wonderful series of events that will be transpiring that evening, really beginning around 6 o'clock. I think dinner. There'll be a dinner there. You can come and have a barbecue dinner, and then I think 6 o'clock we have one of our graduates who's started a pretty neat ministry that he'll come and he'll perform a concert with a group of individuals that he has. They send out people all over the country to do pretty amazing things. Jonah Engel is his name. His dad is the pastor of the Jackson Free Methodist Church, Jason Engel. And so a wonderful young man doing neat things. And then at 7 o'clock, we'll give a broader welcome. And then we have a concert by Sanctus Real, who is a pretty well-known Christian band, and then a fireworks show that will take place about 9 o'clock in the evening. So just a wonderful way to kick off our sesquicentennial year. And just lead to a year-long celebration of our 150th anniversary. It's pretty amazing.
That is awesome, and I believe there's a soccer game at the same time as this event.
Right.
And it's possible that the fireworks will be timed with each
That's the plan.
Goal.
Wouldn't that be something? I hope we have a lot of fireworks then. So we the idea I think is to try to put the fireworks at halftime of the second game. So there's a men's game and a women's game, and so we'll coordinate the fireworks to be at halftime of that second game. Yeah, so it'll be a busy weekend. It'll be a great weekend, though. Yeah.
Cool. Looking at the calendar of things that you have planned, it really is. It's going to be essentially the whole year is themed on the sesquicentennial.
Right.
Pretty much everything that you'll be doing all year long.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. So you only have a 150th anniversary celebration one time in the life of an organization, and so we wanted to make sure that we did it right and we did it well, and really celebrate the tremendous. You think about an institution that has lasted that long, and you think of even some of the founding purposes of the university. In fact, when I was going through and I'm reading through some histories and I'm looking at a variety of things, and there was a particular quote that really jumped out to me from E.P. Hart, where he said, our desire is to create an institution that combines solid, rigorous academic training with thorough and solid theological training, and that blending of those two components really is what we do today. We don't just train pastors and missionaries. I mean, our largest majors are education and business and nursing, right? So I mean, professional and orientation. We're a liberal arts institution broadly, where the foundation of our learning is on the liberal arts. But what we do, I think, really differently than a lot of institutions is the approach to learning, right? We're within our concept statement, we say we have a total commitment to Christ as the perspective for learning. And some people would say, well, that's a pretty audacious statement. As the perspective, or is it a perspective? And so, no, we say that's the use of the article there, right? Not a perspective, but we say it's the perspective, which I really think goes back to that founding commitment of E.P. Hart of taking rigorous academic training in a combination with solid theological training, bringing them together. But again, the claims of Christianity, the claims of faith, is that there is a God that exists, that created all that exists. And so if you remove God from an understanding and a pursuit of knowledge and understanding, then you may be able to understand. This is the perspective of Spring Arbor. You may be able to understand facts. You may be able to have some semblance of a broader understanding, but to really get to underlying understanding of truth, it's very difficult if you remove God completely from the process, if He's the one who's created all that exists. And so with that, the term, the article "the" versus "a" is very intentional on the part of Spring Arbor, and
Another
so
part
reflects
of
the purpose of who we are. Yeah.
I was talking to a teacher at Northwest last week, and I thought he was from here and grew up here, and he said, no, I came from Flint area to go to Spring Arbor University. Yeah. I liked it here. I stayed. I got a job teaching, and the rest is history. Yeah. That is such a common. I talked to business people. I talked to teachers, people that met their husband or wife at school, stayed here. Yeah. By the just by being here, being what you call, and I think part of your mission, critical participants
in the contemporary world.
They've become such a critical part of the community, Spring Arbor. Right. It's amazing how many students go here, stay here.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think it actually is it reflects what we really hope to be true, and that is that Spring Arbor and Jackson County really are great partners, right, in this area, right? So if Jackson County was a really bad place to live and be, you wouldn't have, even if people came and loved it at Spring Arbor, they wouldn't stay if Jackson County wasn't a wonderful place to be as well. And so I think it reflects highly both on the university, but also on our location, and so the work of those that have invested to keep Jackson County moving forward, and being the folks that you just had on before me, that with from the Lumen system, I think again a great example of individuals that have invested in our community extremely well, and so there are places for our students to land and to feel like they are accomplishing good things. Right, and so that's a good thing. We're glad that we are in the location that we're in. There's no doubt about it.
And talk about when E.P. Hart founded the school. It was closer to the Falling Waters Trail. The first.
Well, so the where he was dropped off at the train station, which is out by the Falling Waters Trail. And so part of what he was trying to do was to get to the village of Spring Arbor at that point in time. And somebody from Spring Arbor was supposed to go pick them up and didn't pick them up. And so the legend, the story is that he and his wife were pulling their, luggage, which, I can imagine probably was some kind of crate of some sort, or, a big piece, had all, trying to drag that through a couple of feet of snow. And so E.P. Hart said to his wife, forget it, let's get back on the train and we'll go somewhere else. And so the legend is that she actually started singing an old Christian hymn that basically says, where there is a track, meaning train tracks, right? Where there's a track, I won't look back, but I'll press on for the sake of the call. And she just kept going. She kept walking in the snow, and that's about a mile and a half trek from where the village of Spring Arbor would have been up to where the Falling Waters Trail, or that train depot, would have been at that point in time. It was quite a walk in the midst of a snowstorm, hauling luggage that did not have, for me, when I'm going through the airport, I've got wheels on my luggage, and but you can imagine having all of your worldly possessions.
Must have been like one of those steamship trunks.
Yeah, big trunk. Yeah. And she's trying to drag this trunk through the snow and giving that perspective. Yeah.
Good thing for Spring Arbor and the community and the college and you that she kept moving.
That's right.
Now, besides being a lecturer, speaker, minister, teacher, you've got author now on your resume.
Well, this is just a little gift to you. So this is my very first book. Wow. That we published just very recently through our Spring Arbor University Press. It's available now on Amazon. So if you search Grace and Truth and then Brent Ellis, it'll take you right to it. We've made it available really basically for the print cost. So it costs, at the minimum charge on Amazon is $4.99. And so that's what it is. It's $4.99, and it basically covers the print cost. You can get a free Kindle copy of it. So if you just download it the electronic way, it's free of charge. But really it was, a year ago, my board of trustees asked me to spend some time and to go and do some reading and some writing and reflection. And so I came back with kind of a preliminary copy of that we gave to all of our campus community. And from that, then we've kind of developed it a little bit and made it into a 12-week study, and really kind of looks at the claim in John chapter 1, verse 14, where the disciple John writes that Jesus came full of grace and truth. And so the examination that I walk through is that as Christians, if we're going to represent Christ within the world, if all we offer is truth that has no grace, and all we do is just speak truth, it's judgmental. It can be seen as judgmental. It can be seen as heavy and harsh and demanding and difficult. But as Christians, if all we offer is grace, that's not tethered to truth, then really it's relativism, and it's in some ways it's narcissistic, because each individual creates their own truth, right? And so what I do is I examine this combination of what does it look like to understand and to build upon understanding truth, and how can we be convinced that what the Bible actually says is true, right? Even in ways that are outside of what the Bible says about itself, right? So there's some historical examination, there's some archaeological examination, and then it goes into an understanding then of if the Bible is true, what does it say about God? What does it say about humanity? What does it say about Christ and what Jesus did to bring reconciliation to this creation? And then really gets into understanding then grace, because one of the things that the Bible does say is that all of us, including me, right? I think I love this, what Paul says. here's a trustworthy saying. Paul says this to Timothy, here's a trustworthy saying. Jesus came to save sinners, of whom I am chief. And I think that's a real healthy perspective to understand, that if I personally would view myself as one of the chief sinners, right? And that I need grace in my life. I need, and so it's trying to say, okay, what does it look like for us to, if Jesus came full of grace and truth, as Christians, what would it look like in our lives if we would live both, in both of those realities, both grace and, because sometimes you think they're paradoxical. Well, they're not paradoxical. You need them both to understand the gospel.
Well, a very appropriate time, because the word truth is subject for debate these days.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yep.
We've got, so available on Amazon and wherever fine books are sold.
That's right.
Also
Specifically Spring Arbor University
Yes.
or Amazon, one or the other.
Hey, your favorite local bookstore, which there is none. So the school has a new, and I think this is the first time in the school's history that you have an athletic director who's also not coaching a sport.
Right.
Brent AD.
Right. Yeah. So if you go back to the history of Spring Arbor University, we've never had a full-time athletic director, and actually what's been true about our athletic growth, it's been tremendous. We've gone from 150 student athletes now to well over 300 student athletes, and we've had wonderful athletic directors through the years. Most recently, Ryan Cottingham, for about a decade, served in that capacity, both as men's basketball coach and athletic director. That's a huge job, huge responsibility. In the midst of that, he won a national championship, right? And so, got to the point where, a number of years ago, he began to say, this is getting too much, and so I began to have some conversation and say, Ryan, okay, if you had to choose one or the other, where would you go? He said, I really want to see what I could do if I just coached basketball. And so he did such a wonderful job. We said, you make a decision on what you want. He said, I want to coach basketball. Which then led us to a place where we began to look and try to find an individual that could come in and help lead, athletics. It's such a critical part of who we are as an institution, and want to make sure that it's done well, done strategically, and done in a manner, in a way that reflects the priorities of the institution. And we think we found the gentleman to do that, Bill Widener. He's so he'll be here. He'll be in town on Wednesday for our broader community meeting, and then he'll come back just after Labor Day and be full time from that day moving forward. So we're excited to. He'd be a good person for you to come and bring on.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting him. I see he's got football coaching in his past, so maybe he's going to bring football, American football to Spring Arbor.
Well, I tell you, if there's always people have always asked, when are we going to start football? When are you going to start football? And the reality is, for a place like Spring Arbor, football. Really needs, if we do football, it has to be done right and it has to be done well. And so, if there's ever going to be a time for us to do that, this, I think, at least provides us an opportunity to examine deeply. We've done some preliminary examinations in the past, and I think there are a lot of good things about adding football. There are a lot of risks about adding football as well, and so it'll be interesting to see where he might lead us on that inquiry. Yeah.
Interesting. Stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned. We'll see.
So, Party on the Plaza, the first in a series of events for the sesquicentennial year, and everyone's invited.
Everyone's invited. Yeah, come one, come all. I think I think there is a link on on that SAU150.org website where you can get out and you can actually put in a registration if you are attending. But if you don't RSVP, doesn't mean you can't come. We'd love to have you come and participate and again, experience some great music and some fireworks and enjoy being out there together.
Can't believe it's coming up. It's this Saturday.
This Saturday, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, I'll be there. I'll look forward to seeing you.
Yeah, it'll be good to see you too.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, starting how many years now as president?
I'm starting my 10th year as president.
10 years as president.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think about. Yeah.
That's a pretty long tenure for a college president. How about at Spring Arbor?
Yeah.
Where do you rank in the?
I think right now I rank as the second longest serving president, and at the conclusion of my contract in year 12, that I'll be the longest term president in Spring Arbor's history. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And of course, you'll just keep extending that, and you'll stay here for the rest of your
For the
career.
rest of my life. Yeah.
Yes.
Till I'm 80.
Okay. You
right?
heard it here first. All right, thanks for the book, and thanks for coming in.
Yeah, absolutely. Great to be with you.
Spring Arbor University President, Dr. Brent Ellis. We've got